Today we released a months-long investigative piece, months-long because it took me months to do it, about the school districts, how they handle cases in which teachers are accused of doing something to kids. The case essentially stems from a incident on October 6th of last year at a football game. A middle school band director, was accused of pulling a high school student's ponytail. And from that, eventually the teacher the paperwork was drawn up to terminate her employment. According to an email that we obtained from her, she resigned her post. And I really want to talk about the three different investigations that took place during this whole thing and why they're different, why they have different outcomes, and what it means for the teachers in the district. So there were a total of three investigations. One was done by the school district, another one was done by the sheriff's office, and a third one was done by the Florida Department of Children and Families, which is DCF. And the three investigations kind of came up with different outcomes. So the DCF investigation, which is ultimately sealed, was referenced in the other two investigations. They said that they didn't have anything to move forward on, so they weren't. The second investigation, the sheriff's office investigation, said that they didn't have the probable cause to move forward with the investigation, and so ultimately they closed it. And then the final investigation, the school district's investigation, found that there were substantiated claims that both the hair pulling situation had happened and that this teacher had promoted a negative environment in her classroom over the last several years. And so they ultimately wrote up a document to terminate this person's employment. There are differences, obviously, in the outcomes of this case because of that. And what it basically comes to is a burden of proof level. So for criminal investigations, which are, the sheriff's office and the DCF, they ultimately determined there wasn't enough there to prosecute, so they didn't. The other side of the coin, the school district investigation, has a much lower bar, which is why you see the substantiated outcomes in the document, the physical document. And so they ultimately move forward with that termination process. And those differences are really important because it's the difference between almost like a criminal and a civil situation where one has to have proof beyond a reasonable doubt, or at least something like that, to bring it to trial. The other one just has to have the suspicion. So ultimately, they have the right as an at-will Florida's an at-will employment state to terminate for any reason at any time. It's a really complicated process, and I'd love to dive more into it on video, but this is one of those things that needs to be precise and accurate when you talk about it. And so I'm going to refer you to our story on midbaynews.com. Maybe you're already watching this video on that article. But that's where you need to go in order to get the full story, get all the details, see how the investigations were conducted and what it means for teachers and students and parents and administrators, everybody that's involved. This basically, I hope, to the best of my ability, broke it down and explains what's going on. So midbaynews.com is where you'll find that, and I hope to see you there.